Coming up on News 2, stop the silence and shine the light on domestic violence. That's what many did during Taking Back the Night marches and vigils held on St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John. VI Public Works Commissioner pleads with parents after a window on a new bus was damaged. Plus, in national news, a New York doctor is the new Ebola victim. Meanwhile, VI Department of Health officials held a conference to discuss concerns. Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gomez-Singh. Topping our newscast, hundreds of people turned out in Frederiksted for the annual Take Back the Night silent march and rally. The Women's Coalition organizes the event that remembers the victims of domestic violence. News 2's Erica Parsons has the story.
The shoes tell the story. More than 60 men, women, and children lost to domestic violence in the last 26 years.
For every name that's called, a pair of shoes will be brought up. And those shoes laid would be standing in a crowd with no bodies.
To remember them, hundreds participated in the annual Take Back the Night silent march and rally Thursday night.
It's the chance for us to march through the streets and say to criminals and batterers that we are not afraid to march at night and we're taking our night back.
The Women's Coalition singled out heroes and sheroes, partners who support their efforts annually, but every year the group honors one victim. This year, it was Iola Martin.
A lot of times, people tend to think that domestic violence only stays at home. A lot of people say, well, why don't they just leave when there's a domestic violence situation? She did leave. She actually left. She got out of the relationship. She had a restraining order. She took all the steps that she should have, and he went to her job.
March organizers said it's important to get men involved in the effort, so two young men were the night's performances.
The young men set the standard. Really, they are the future generations. And if we're going to make the changes, sometimes we have to start with the young because they are strong. And they made an excellent performance tonight.
The goal is to ultimately stop domestic violence, but experts say there's still more work to be done.
Our numbers haven't really decreased, and I think that's because there's a lot more awareness. So people are aware of domestic violence, whether it be physical violence, whether it be emotional or psychological, financial or spiritual. They're becoming more aware of the problem that's there, and because of that, they're reaching out more, and we're really happy for that. But it does mean that we do still have a problem.
Participants were urged to sign a pledge to commit to healthy relationships. At the end of the night, it was more than 150 strong who turned out to help put an end to domestic violence. Erica Parsons, News 2.
Well, meanwhile, members of the Family Resource Center joined with many for a similar march and candlelight vigil that took place on St. Thomas. Many marched from Emancipation Garden up Government Hill, down Hospital Gata, and then down the waterfront, passing the VI legislature, and finally ending at Emancipation Gardens bandstand, where the candlelight vigil took place. CAHS marching band, panning motion, Adelita Cancrine Junior High School, drumline, Girls on the Go, Ivana Yudorican Marching Band, CAHS GROTC, the St. Thomas Reformed Church, YWCA USVI. These were just a few of all in attendance. Domestic Violence Awareness March and Candlelight Vigils also took place on St. John, with a program first and then the March and Lantern Vigil, evolved from the Day of Unity, held in October 1981 and conceived by the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. The intent was to connect advocates across the nation who were working to end violence against women and their children. In 1989, U.S. Congress passed Public Law 101-112, designating October of that year as National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. 10 heavy-duty buses were launched on all three islands earlier this month, along with 12 medium-duty buses. Commissioner of Public Works Darrell Small says one bus has already sustained damage, not because of wear and tear. Now the commissioner is pleading with parents.
On Tuesday evening, unfortunately, one of the new Vitran buses was a victim, I would say, of some youths that were throwing rocks at the bus. Unfortunately, one of the windows on the bus was broken, and as a result, the bus operator immediately stopped the bus, notified the Virgin Islands Police Department. I'm happy to report that some individuals were detained, and we're hoping that we will be able to have some type of restitution as it relates to replacement of the glass. this is really an unfortunate incident in light of the fact that these are brand new buses that we just recently brought online for the people of the Virgin Islands, and we're just encouraging the parents of the youth to please to have some conversations with your young ones and encourage them that these are valuable assets for the government of the Virgin Islands, and we want them to last for years to come.
In other news, Supervisor of Elections Mrs. Caroline Fawkes would like to remind everyone that early voting continues this weekend in the St. Croix, St. Thomas, and St. John districts. Elections offices, and that's going on until October 31st from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Now, the numbers of electors who have participated in early voting from October 21st to the 24th so far are St. Croix 584, St. Thomas 509, and St. John 27. Electors will deposit their marked ballots with the candidates of their choice in the holding bin of the DS200, which has multiple forms of security. The marked ballots are kept in a serialized sealed container for safekeeping until counted on election day, and that's the word from elections offices. All public schools in both districts were closed today and will be again on Monday, October 27th. Department of Education officials say teachers in St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix districts are attending professional development workshops. Well, WAPA has begun installing its smart meter system in St. Thomas. The Advanced Metering Infrastructure Project began as a pilot in May with 50 customers. The new meter can record consumption data and immediately relay it back to WAPA, giving customer service reps real-time information. It also identifies service interruptions without the customer having to call. The new system is expected to be fully online in St. Thomas by January. Implementation in St. John and St. Croix is planned for February. Meanwhile, the Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs wants Hovenza's formula for setting fuel prices. DLCA's Commissioner Wayne Biggs sent a letter Wednesday to Hovenza requesting all information about its pricing mechanism for VI fuel costs. Biggs says he knows the oil company's costs are based on market conditions, but those prices have been trending downwards while Hovenza's prices have not. The commissioner says this is not an investigation, but rather an inquiry in the best interest of consumers. Hovenza has until November 3rd to provide that information. The Department of Health is continuing Ebola trainings in both districts to comply with mandates issued by the Centers for Disease Control. Friday, they provided information to federal, public, and private agencies who could potentially come into contact with the deadly virus to make sure they're fully prepared.
We've been working very closely with the healthcare facilities and our healthcare partners to make sure that we have the correct policies and procedures in place so that we are prepared in the event that we have an Ebola incident in the territory. This is not just a Department of Health issue. It is a homeland security issue. It's an issue and a concern for every resident and every healthcare provider in the territory. And with that said, this is why we have engaged a collaborative partnership with multiple agencies.
Now, New York City's first Ebola patient is in stable condition inside one of the state's designated Ebola hospitals. He caught the virus while treating Ebola patients in West Africa earlier this month. The first Texas nurse to contract Ebola headed home Friday, virus-free. She stopped by the White House where she got a hug from President Obama. In other news, a Washington State high school was locked down on Friday after a student opened fire. Police confirmed that the shooter and another individual are dead. Meanwhile, keeping our eye on the economy, here's a look at the New York Stock Exchange with our stock market watch. The Dow, Nasdaq, S&P all up. The Dow 127, Nasdaq 30, S&P 13. Coming up on News 2, do men get breast cancer? Well, details as we continue our breast cancer awareness for the entire month of October. Plus, where can you sign up for some spooky Halloween fun? We have a few options. Well, do men get breast cancer? The answer is yes. Since men have breast tissue, they can get breast cancer as well. But breast cancer in men is rare. About 1% of all breast cancer cases in the U.S. occur in men. If it is found at the same stage, survival rates are similar for men and women.
We frequently talk about women having breast cancer, but men can also get breast cancer. About 5% of all breast cancers are found in men, and usually men don't even need a mammogram because they can easily feel a mass in their breast. And if they do, please men, go and talk to your doctor about it, get examined, get an ultrasound and a biopsy to confirm whether or not this is cancer. And if it is cancer, then you need to undergo surgery to remove that tumor. And then the medical oncologist will discuss with you if you need any chemotherapy or if you need hormonal therapy, which is in the form of pills.
MVG Productions, in conjunction with the American Cancer Society, launches Go Pink Virgin Islands to raise funds in recognition of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The public is invited to participate in that event on October 26th in the Fort Christian parking lot from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. It will include health awareness, food, drinks, and live entertainment. A portion of all proceeds and profits will be given to U.S. Virgin Islands American Cancer Society to help both men and women who have been diagnosed with breast cancer. They're also encouraging everyone to participate in the American Cancer Society's Making Strides Walkathon, and that starts at 5 p.m. from Crown Bay Marina to the Emancipation Garden, and then you can join the Go Pink VI in the Fort Christian parking lot, where you can enjoy the sounds of Spectrum Band. Project Homeless Connect 2014 kicked off on Friday, October 10th, on St. Croix, Friday, October 17th, on St. John, and today, Friday, October 24th, on St. Thomas. It's a day of caring to serve the homeless of the U.S. Virgin Islands with comprehensive services. Here's more how it works.
The information that we receive or try to get from the client, we put into what is called the HMIS, or the Homeless Management Information System. That system is something that is manned by the Methodist Training and Outreach Center, and that is like a catalog or a log of the homeless population and persons in different categories, and what their needs were, how they were met in years past, and it gives us some sense of currency about where the client is, what services they need, and what they're doing even after Project Homeless Connect.
Well, some spooky events are lined up for those looking for some Halloween fun. Tutu Park Mall will be transformed. The usual haunted house will be set up on Saturday, October 26th from 12 to 5 p.m. and then Wednesday, October 29th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Thursday, October 30th, 5 to 7, and Friday, October 31st, 5 to 9. But this Saturday, there will be a jamboree with music by Jasid, Red Lion Sounds, face painting, storytelling, and more from 12 to 5 p.m. Then Friday, October 31st, from 5 to 9 p.m., it's Halloween costume night. Sunny L Shopping Center also will have their own event. They will be entertaining on Saturday from 1 to 5 p.m. in the courtyard. There will be music, a costume fashion show, safe trick-or-treating, and free treat bags for the children. Now, the annual Antilles School Fall Festival will be held on Saturday, October 25th from 4 to 8 p.m. The festival will feature the usual Great Pumpkin Patch with jack-o'-lantern style pumpkins for sale. You can walk around and choose your very own. There will be a carnival-like atmosphere of games, food, crafts, and fun for all ages. Flip Switch Band will be keeping everyone in a festive mood. Now, some spooky events are planned for those looking for some Halloween fun as well. Also, Fish Tales Restaurant, they're hosting the 4th annual pumpkin carving contest on Saturday, October 25th at 5:30 p.m. There are many different categories for best adult, child, and family. Now, they are far from creepy and spooky, but more cute and cuddly. The Humane Society wants you to consider a new friend for Halloween.
This is Autumn on my left, and this is Lexi on my right. Autumn is 4 months old, and there's a bunch of little Autumns down at the Humane Society right now. We could definitely use some help. Anybody looking to adopt? Oh, no. And we've got Lexi here. Lexi was found on the side of the road, unfortunately. She's 4 years old. She's had a few litter of puppies. She is a sweet dog. She rode on my shoulder on the way down here, and she's a great car dog. Very good personality. They're both awesome. If you guys are looking for a dog, please come down and check us out.
Well, both cuties will be sure to stick around. Your News2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.